My name's Jake. I'm 29, a welder by trade, and I've been busting my hump for years to make something of myself. I don't come from money. Everything I've got, I earned swinging a torch and sweating through steel-toed boots. I just got back from a job site in Ohio today, March 21st, 2025, after a week of welding pipelines in the middle of nowhere. All I wanted was to kick off my boots, crack a cold one, and sink into my recliner in my little house. That house, it ain't much, just a 2-bedroom ranch with a patchy lawn, but it's mine. Or at least, it was supposed to be. I was bone tired when I rolled into my neighborhood, the kind of tired where your eyes feel like they're full of sand. My truck's tires crunched over the gravel as I turned onto my street, and that's when I saw it, a big, ugly for sale sign stabbed into my front yard like a knife. Not even sold, just for sale, but it still hit me like a punch to the gut. I slammed on the brakes so hard the toolbox in the bed slid forward and thumped the cab. My brain locked up. No way. This had to be some kind of mix-up. I stumbled out of the truck, my work bag still slung over my shoulder, and hauled myself up to the porch. The front door was unlocked, another red flag, and when I pushed it open, there he was, Carl, my girlfriend's dad. He was standing in my living room, tossing my stuff into a cardboard box like it was trash day. Carl's a big guy, broad shoulders, always wearing those loud Hawaiian shirts like he's auditioning for a beach movie. Today, he had on a yellow one with flamingos, and he barely glanced up when I stormed in. Carl, what in the hell is going on? I barked, dropping my bag on the floor with a thud. He taped up the box real casual-like and flashed me that smug grin of his. Hey there, Jake. Didn't expect you back so soon, buddy. Buddy. He always called me that, like I was some dumb kid he had to pat on the head. I ain't his buddy. Why's there a for sale sign out front? I said, stepping closer. My voice was shaking, and I could feel my hands balling up. Carl leaned back, crossing his arms. Oh, that? Yeah, we're putting the place on the market. No big deal. We. I said, my stomach twisting into knots. What do you mean, we? He let out this little chuckle, like I'd asked something stupid. Me and Lisa, of course. You don't need a whole house, Jake. What's a single guy like you doing with all this space? You're better off in a trailer or something. Save some cash. Lisa's my girlfriend. Been together 3 years, and Carl's her old man. I felt my blood start boiling. This is my house, Carl. I bought it. My name's on the deed. My money paid for it. You got no right. He cut me off with a laugh, loud and sharp, like I told a joke. Your money? Come on, Jake. You think you pulled this off all by yourself? This is family property, buddy. Lisa and me, we're just looking out for you. I took a step back, my head spinning. Family property? That was a load of bull. I'd scraped together every dime for the down payment, worked overtime for 2 years straight to cover the mortgage. Lisa had moved in with me a while back, sure, but she didn't pay a cent toward the house. And Carl? He'd never done squat except drink my beer and complain about my cooking. What are you talking about? I said, my voice low now, dangerous. Carl shrugged, picking up another box. Look, it's complicated. Legal stuff. Point is, we're selling it. Already got a realtor lined up. You'll get over it. He smirked again, then added, oh, and I'm heading out tomorrow, big fishing trip down in Florida. Gonna catch me some marlin. I'll send you a postcard. I just stood there, staring at him as he grabbed his jacket and sauntered out the door, whistling like he hadn't just blown up my life. My house, was on the chopping block, and Carl was acting like it was his to sell. I wanted to chase him down, slug him right in that smug face, but I didn't. Not yet. I let him walk away, let him think he'd won. Because I wasn't about to roll over. No, sir. I was gonna fight back, and when I was done, Carl wouldn't know what hit him. After Carl waltzed out my front door like he owned the place, I stood there in my empty living room, the silence buzzing in my ears. My recliner was still there, but half my stuff, my TV, my toolbox, even my dang coffee maker was gone or packed up in boxes. It felt like a robbery, except the thief had the nerve to smirk at me while he did it. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, thank God they left that, and sank into my chair, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. My house was for sale. Carl and Lisa were behind it. And I was supposed to just take it lying down? Hell no. First thing I did was call Lisa. She's 27, works at a hair salon, and she's been living with me for the last year and a half. I figured she'd have some answers, or at least a shred of guilt. The phone rang 4 times before she picked up, her voice all chipper like nothing was wrong. Hey babe, you back already? Don't babe me. I snapped, pacing the kitchen. Lisa, what's going on with the house? Your dad was just here, packing my stuff, saying it's for sale. You know about this. There was a pause, then a little sigh, like I was tiring her out. Jake, calm down. Yeah, I know. Dad and I talked about it. It's for the best, okay? For the best. I nearly shouted. Lisa, this is my house. I paid for it. Every nail, every shingle. How's it for the best to sell it out from under me? She groaned, like I was being dramatic. Look, you're gone all the time with work. You don't need a big place like this. It's too much upkeep, too much money. Dad found a buyer, and we're gonna get you something smaller, like an apartment. It'll be easier. I stopped pacing, my grip tightening on the phone. Easier for who? You and Carl. Where's the money going, Lisa? 'Cause I sure ain't seen a dime. Another pause, longer this time. We're handling it, she said, Real vague. Dad's got it under control. Just trust us, all right? Trust you. I laughed, bitter and loud. You're stealing my damn house, and you want trust? Where are you right now? I'm at Mom's, she said, quick and defensive. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk then. And she hung up before I could say another word. I stared at my phone, my blood pounding in my ears. She wasn't on it, my own girlfriend. That hurt worse than Carl's smug grin. But I wasn't done digging. I grabbed my laptop and pulled up every document I had on the house. I ain't no lawyer, but I can read a bank statement and a deed. See, when I bought the place 4 years ago, I was 25, fresh off a good welding gig, but my credit wasn't perfect. Lisa offered to co-sign the loan. It's just paperwork, Jake, she'd said back then, all sweet and smiling. It's still your house. I trusted her, signed the dotted line, and moved in. My name was on the deed, hers too, but I made every payment. She swore she'd never pull anything funny. Now, though, I had a bad feeling. I logged into the mortgage company's website, hands shaking as I typed. And there it was, plain as day. 6 months ago, the loan got refinanced. My name? Gone. The deed was in Lisa's name only now, and Carl's signature was all over the paperwork as her advisor. They'd screwed me behind my back while I was out busting my tail on job sites. Legally, she owned it. Legally, she could sell it. And legally, I was up a creek. I slammed the laptop shut, my chest tight. They hadn't just betrayed me, they planned it. Carl was off to Florida, probably with a fat stack of my cash, and Lisa was playing innocent while they cashed out my life. I checked my bank account next, praying I'd see something from the sale. Nothing. No deposit, no trace. Whatever they got, they were keeping it. I could have lost it right there, smashed a wall, screamed my head off, but I didn't. I took a long swig of beer, steadied myself, and made a decision. They thought I was some dumb welder they could roll over. They were wrong. I picked up my phone again and dialed 2 people. First was my buddy Tom, a guy I've known since high school who's now a real estate agent. Second was my cousin Ray, who's got a knack for sniffing out dirt on people. Carl and Lisa wanted to play dirty. Fine. I'd play dirtier. They could enjoy their little victory for now. Carl fishing in Florida, Lisa hiding at her mom's. But when I was done, they'd wish they'd never crossed me. After I hung up with Lisa, I sat there in my half-empty kitchen, the beer in my hand going warm. My house, my little slice of the American dream, was slipping through my fingers, and the 2 people I'd trusted most were the ones yanking it away. Carl was probably already on a plane to Florida, dreaming of Marlin and my ties, while Lisa was holed up at her mom's, acting like she'd done me a favor. I wasn't just mad. I was furious, the kind of mad that makes your whole body hum. But I wasn't gonna let it burn me out. No, I was gonna use it. I made those 2 calls like I said. First up was Tom, my old high school buddy who'd gone from flipping burgers with me to selling houses. He picked up on the second ring, his voice all easygoing. Jake, my man. How's it going? Not good, Tom, I said, leaning against the counter. I need your help. Lisa and her dad are selling my house out from under me. There's a for sale sign up already. He let out a low whistle. Damn, that's cold. How'd they pull that off? I explained the whole mess, the cosign, the refinance, how they'd scrubbed my name off the deed while I was welding pipes in the boonies. Tom went quiet for a sec, then said, all right, first off, that refinancing sounds shady as hell. If they did it without you knowing, we might have something to work with. I'll pull the listing, see who's handling it, and dig into the paperwork. You got copies of anything? Yeah, I've got the original loan docs and the new deed stuff I found online, I said. Can you tell me if they broke any laws? Bet your ass I can, he replied. Give me a day to poke around. If they forged anything or skipped steps, we can jam 'em up. You still got keys to the place? For now, I said. But who knows how long that'll last. Sit tight, Tom told me. Don't let 'em in if they show up. I'll call you tomorrow. He hung up, and I felt a flicker of hope. Tom's a straight shooter. He'd figure out if there was a crack I could pry open. Next call was Ray, my cousin on my mom's side. Ray's a little rough around the edges, tattoos up his arms, always got a cigarette dangling from his lip, but he's sharp as a tack when it comes to finding dirt. He answered with a grunt. What's up, Jake? Ray, I'm in deep, I said, and I laid it all out. Carl, Lisa, the house, the whole betrayal. I need you to dig into Carl. He's off to Florida tomorrow, says it's a fishing trip, but I bet he's got my money stashed somewhere. Can you find out what he's up to? Ray chuckled, dark and low. Oh, I'll find something. Guy like Carl, he's too cocky to cover his tracks good. What's his last name again? Thompson, I said. Carl Thompson. Lisa's is too. Got it, Ray said. I'll check his bank stuff, see if he's moving cash around. You got any idea where he banks? First National, I think, I said. He's always flashing that debit card when he buys rounds at the bar. Perfect, Ray said. I've got a buddy who owes me a favor, works at the branch downtown. I'll see what's what. And Lisa, she in on this too. Up to her eyeballs, I said, my jaw tight. She's playing dumb, but she knew. Ray snorted. Figures. All right, I'll tell her too if I can. Give me a couple days. I'll call you when I've got dirt. He hung up, and I could almost hear the gears turning in his head. With Tom and Ray on the case, I wasn't just sitting on my hands anymore. I spent the rest of the night going through every scrap of paper I had, bills, bank statements, even old text from Lisa. Around midnight, I found something that made my stomach flip, a text from her to Carl, dated 3 months back. Rafi's done. He's clueless. When do we list it? My own girlfriend, plotting with her dad to screw me over. I saved that screenshot evidence, baby. I didn't sleep much that night, just stared at the ceiling, plotting my next move. Carl thought he'd won, jetting off to fish while my life crumbled. Lisa thought she could sweet-talk me into taking it. But I had Tom sniffing out the legal cracks and Ray digging for financial skeletons. They could enjoy their little scheme for now, Carl casting lines, Lisa hiding behind her mom's curtains, but I was building a trap. When it snapped shut, they'd be the ones floundering, not me. The next morning, I woke up on my recliner with a crick in my neck and a half-empty beer still in my hand. My house felt like a ghost town, boxes stacked in the corner, my stuff half gone, and that damn for sale sign glaring at me through the window. I hadn't slept worth a lick, but I wasn't tired no more. I was fired up. Carl and Lisa thought they could pull this off without a fight, but I had Tom and Ray in my corner now, and I wasn't about to let this go quiet. I made some coffee, thankfully they hadn't taken the pot yet, and sat at the kitchen table, staring at that text from Lisa to Carl I'd found last night. Rafi's done. He's clueless. When do we list it? It was dated 3 months ago, right when I was on a job in Kentucky, welding tanks in the rain. They'd been scheming while I was out there breaking my back. I sent the screenshot to Tom and Ray with a note, proof they planned it. Use it. Tom called me around noon, his voice crackling with excitement. Jake, you're gonna love this. I got the listing details and pulled some strings with a buddy at the county clerk's office. That refinance Lisa and Carl did? It's a mess. They filed it, but there's no record you signed off on dropping your name from the deed. I sat up straight, coffee sloshing in my mug. What's that mean? Means they might have faked your signature, Tom said. If they forged it, that's fraud, plain and simple. I've got copies of the docs, your name's on the original deed, but the new one's just Lisa's, with Carl listed as power of attorney. No consent form from you anywhere. My heart started pounding. So I can fight this? Hell yeah, Tom said. I'm taking this to a lawyer friend of mine today, guy named Pete who owes me a favor. If we can prove forgery, we can freeze the sale, maybe even get the house back in your name. You got anything with your signature to compare? Yeah, tons, I said. Old checks, work contracts, whatever you need. Perfect, he said. Send me a couple samples. And Jake, don't let them take anything else out of that house. If they show up, call me. We're locking this down. I hung up, feeling like I just landed a solid punch. Forgery? That was a lifeline. I snapped pictures of some old pay stubs and emailed them to Tom, then started pacing, waiting for Ray to check in. If Tom could stop the sale, maybe Ray could find where my money went. Ray called around 3, sounding like he'd just hit the jackpot. Jake, you sitting down? Carl's dumber than a bag of hammers. Tell me something good, I said, leaning against the fridge. Checked with my guy at First National, Ray said. Carl's got a personal account there. And guess what? 2 days ago, a fat deposit hit, $275,000. Matches what your house fetch around here. Then yesterday, he wired $50,000 to some account in Florida and blew another chunk on plane tickets and a hotel. Fishing trip, my ass, he's living it up. I clenched my fist so hard my knuckles popped. That's my money, Ray. Can we get it back? Working on it, he said. My buddy says the account's still active, but if Carl spends it all, it's gone. I dug deeper, Lisa's got a piece too. She pulled $10,000 cash yesterday, probably from that sale. They're splitting it, Jake. Where's she at now? I asked. Still at her mom's, far as I can tell, Ray said. I drove by earlier, her car's in the driveway. Want me to keep eyes on her? Yeah, I said. And Carl, can you track him in Florida? Already on it, Ray said. Got his hotel name from the wire transfer. Some fancy place in Key West. I'll find out what he's spending and where. If he's dumb enough to flash cash, we'll nail him. Good, I said, a grin creeping up. Let him think he's safe down there. We'll hit him when he ain't looking. Ray laughed. You're a cold one, Jake. I'll call you tomorrow with more. I hung up and took a deep breath. Tom had the legal angle, forgery could stop the sale cold. Ray had the money trail, Carl and Lisa were spending my cash like it was Christmas. I wasn't helpless anymore. I grabbed another beer and sat on my porch, watching the sun dip low. That for sale sign still mocked me, but now it felt like a challenge. Carl was sipping cocktails in Key West. Lisa was hiding out, thinking they'd pulled it off. But the cracks were showing, and I was about to bust him wide open. The next day, I woke up feeling like a man with a purpose. My house was still a mess, that for sale sign still taunting me from the yard, but I wasn't just some chump anymore, I was fighting back. Carl was down in Key West, probably sunburned and sipping rum, while Lisa was laying low at her mom's, thinking they'd gotten away clean. But Tom and Ray were on the case, and I was about to turn the heat up so high they'd feel it from 1,000 miles away. I spent the morning keeping busy, cleaned the kitchen, unpacked a couple boxes just to feel normal, and kept my phone close, waiting for updates. Around 10, Tom called, sounding like he'd struck gold. Jake, it's on. Pete, my lawyer buddy, looked over the refinance docs and your signature samples. That new deed? Your name on it ain't even close to how you sign. It's a forgery, no question. I punched the air, grinning like a fool. So what's that mean for me? Means we've got him by the short hairs, Tom said. Pete's filing an emergency injunction today to halt the sale. Says we can argue fraud and get the house back in your name, plus damages if we play it right. The realtor's gonna freak. They've already got a buyer lined up. But too bad. You're the rightful owner. Hell yeah, I said, my chest swelling. How long's this gonna take? Few days to get the injunction through, Tom said. Court's gotta review it, but Pete's fast-tracking it. Oh, and he's drafting a lawsuit against Lisa and Carl. Fraud, theft, the works. You in? All the way, I said. They don't get to walk away from this. Thought so, Tom said. Sit tight, and don't let anyone near that house. I'll call when the injunction's filed. He hung up, and I felt like I just went around. The sale was about to hit a brick wall, and Lisa and Carl didn't even know it yet. Ray checked in around noon, his voice rough like he'd been up all night. Jake, you ain't gonna believe this. Carl's living large in Key West. Hotel's got a tab running under his name, and he's dropping cash like it's confetti. Bar bills, boat rentals, even booked some deep-sea fishing trip for tomorrow. That's my money he's burning, I growled, pacing the living room. Yep, Ray said. But here's the kicker, I got into his bank account details. That $275,000 deposit? He's already blown through half of it. Wired another $25,000 to some account this morning, can't tell whose yet. But I'm guessing Lisa's got her cut stashed somewhere. What about her? I asked. She's still at her mom's? Drove by an hour ago, Ray said. Car's gone now. Neighbor said she peeled out early. Looked pissed. Might be headed your way, so watch your back. Thanks, Ray. I said. Keep tracking Carl. If he's spending, I want every receipt. On it, Ray said. I'll call tomorrow. He hung up, and I started thinking. Lisa might show up here, probably to sweet-talk me or grab more of my stuff. I wasn't letting her in, not a chance. Sure enough, around 2, I heard a car pull up. I peeked out the window, Lisa's beat-up Honda, right in my driveway. She climbed out, hair all messy, wearing sunglasses like some movie star hiding a hangover. She marched up to the porch and banged on the door. Jake, open up. We need to talk. I leaned against the frame inside, not budging. Talk through the door. Lisa, you ain't coming in. She huffed, loud enough I could hear it. Don't be a jerk. Let me in. I just want to explain. Explain what? I shot back. How you forged my name. How you're selling my house and spending the cash with your dad. Silence for a beat. Then she went soft. Jake, please. It's not like that. Dad said it'd help us, help you. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Bull, I said. I saw your text to Carl. He's clueless. You planned this, Lisa. Now get off my porch before I call the cops. She banged the door again, harder. You're gonna regret this, Jake. We were doing you a favor. Then she stormed off, tires squealing as she peeled out. I watched her go, my hands shaking but my resolve solid. She could threaten all she wanted, Tom's injunction was coming, and Ray had Carl spinning on lock. I grabbed another coffee and sat back down, feeling the heat rise. They'd lit the match, but I was about to burn their whole game down. After Lisa peeled out of my driveway, I stood there on the porch, watching the dust settle, my coffee gone cold in my hand. She tried to play me again, all sweet and sorry, but I wasn't buying it. Not anymore. My house was still mine for now, and with Tom's injunction in the works and Ray tracking Carl's every move, I could feel the walls closing in on them. They'd thought I'd just roll over, but I was about to show him how wrong they were. Tom called me late that afternoon, his voice buzzing with news. Jake, it's done. Pete got the injunction filed, judge signed off an hour ago. The sale's frozen. Realtor's pissed, but they can't touch the house till the fraud case gets sorted. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. So it's safe? They can't sell it. Not a chance, Tom said. Deed's locked in your name pending the lawsuit. Pete's pushing hard, says we've got a slam dunk with the forged signature. He's filing the fraud suit against Lisa and Carl tomorrow. If we win, you could get the house back permanent, plus damages. Damages? I said, perking up. Like money. Yep, Tom said. Could be a chunk, depending on what they've spent. Speaking of, you got any idea where the cash from the sale went? Ray's on it, I said. Carl's blowing it in Florida, and Lisa's got her cut too. Perfect, Tom said. Pete's adding financial theft to the suit. If Ray's got proof, we'll nail him. Keep me posted. He hung up, and I felt like I just loaded a shotgun. The house was safe for now, and the law was swinging my way. Ray called an hour later, sounding like a kid on Christmas. Jake, Carl screwed himself 6 ways to Sunday. Hotel in Key West sent me his tab, $15,000 in 3 days. Booze, fishing charters, even rented a damn jet ski. He's down to under $100,000 in that account now. I laughed, cold and hard. My money's gone that fast? Pretty much, Ray said. But I got more. That $25,000 he wired this morning went to Lisa's mom's account. Guess she's in on it too. And Lisa, she's back at her mom's now, just pulled in with a suitcase. Looks like she's moving out. Good riddance, I said. Can we stop Carl from spending the rest? Working on it, Ray said. I tipped off a guy I know at the bank, owe him a beer now. He's flagging Carl's account for suspicious activity. Might not freeze it yet, but it'll slow him down. Oh, and get this, Carl's booked a flight back tomorrow. Yes, the party's over. Tomorrow, I said, my mind racing. He's coming here? Yep, Ray said. Lands at 6 in the evening. Want me to pick you up? We can greet him. Hell yeah, I said. Let's see his face when he realizes he's broke. Ray laughed and hung up, and I started planning. Carl was flying back into a storm, and I'd be there to watch it hit. That night, I stayed up late, sipping a beer and staring at the boxes in my living room. My house wasn't gone yet, Tom had locked it down, and the lawsuit was coming. Ray had Carl's cash in a chokehold, and Lisa was scrambling. I could have called her, chewed her out again, but I didn't. Let her sweat. Let Carl land thinking he'd still won. The next day was going to be fireworks, and I'd have front row seats. Sure enough, the next evening, Ray swung by in his rusty pickup, grinning like a fox. Ready to ruin Carl's day? Born ready, I said, climbing in. We drove to the airport, parked near arrivals, and waited. At 6:15, Carl strutted out, Hawaiian shirt wrinkled, dragging a suitcase. He looked tanned but tired, like the good times were wearing thin. Ray nudged me. Showtime. We stepped out, and I called, "Hey, Carl." He froze, eyes darting to me, then Ray. "How was Florida? Catch anything with my money?" His face went white. "Jake, how'd you?" "Save it," I said, stepping closer. "Sail's off. House is mine. And your bank account? Drying up fast. Hope you enjoyed the jet ski." He stammered. "You can't. This is family." "Family don't steal," I said, cutting him off. "See you in court, buddy." Ray smirked as Carl stumbled away, dragging his suitcase toward a cab. The walls were closing in, and he was starting to feel it. Carl hightailing it to that cab was the last I saw of him that night. But it wasn't the end. Me and Ray drove home, laughing about the look on his face, pure panic, like a rat caught in a trap. I slept good for the first time in days, knowing the house was locked down and Carl's big win was crumbling. Over the next few weeks, everything came crashing down for him and Lisa, and I got to watch it all unfold like a slow-motion car wreck. Tom's lawyer, Pete, hit the ground running. The fraud suit went through fast. Judge didn't take kindly to forged signatures and stolen deeds. By the end of the month, the house was back in my name. No strings attached. Lisa and Carl got slapped with fraud and theft charges, and Pete tacked on a damages claim. Court awarded me $150,000, less than what they'd taken, but enough to make it sting. Most of Carl's cash was gone, blown on his Florida spree, but the bank clawed back what was left after Ray's tip. Lisa's mom lost that $25,000 too. Turns out hiding stolen money ain't legal either. Carl tried to fight it, but he didn't have a leg to stand on. Ray dug up more dirt, unpaid taxes, shady side deals, and handed it to Pete. Last I heard, Carl was facing jail time, stuck in a cheap motel after Lisa's mom kicked him out. He showed up at my place once, begging for a break, but I just shut the door and called the cops. They hauled him off for trespassing, and that was that. Lisa? She ghosted me after the airport. Never called, never texted, just vanished. Ray said she moved out of her mom's place, probably shacked up with some new sucker. Her mom tried to play nice, sent me a letter saying she was sorry it all got messy, but I tossed it. They'd all picked their side, and it wasn't mine. I kept the house, fixed it up slow, new paint, patched the lawn, even got a new TV. Work picked up too. I landed a steady gig welding at a factory nearby. No more out-of-state hauls. Money from the lawsuit went into savings, and I bought myself a decent fishing rod, just for me. No Carl invited. Life got quiet, simple, the way I like it. A few months later, I ran into Ray at the diner. We grabbed a booth, and I asked, "Heard anything about Carl?" Ray grinned, chewing a fry. "Oh yeah. He's locked up 6 months for fraud. More if the tax stuff sticks. Lisa's off the grid, probably broke. You won, Jake." I nodded, sipping my coffee. "Feels good, man. Real good." And it did. I'd lost a girlfriend, a chunk of cash, and damn near my house. But I'd fought back and took it all back, plus some. Carl and Lisa thought they could bury me, but I climbed out and left him in the dirt. Now, I sit on my porch most nights, beer in hand, watching the sunset over my yard. No more signs, no more schemes, just peace. And that's the sweetest win of all.